Okay, this one's going to be short. Short-term survival. Cash is king. Pretty much exactly what it says. Um, you know, in most major weather situations, most short-term survival situations, you're going to have some advance notice that you're about to get your ass kicked. Uh, Blizzard, hurricane, tropical storm, monsoon. Uh, you pick it, you know what's going to happen. Or at least you have some idea that it's going to get ugly. Assuming you're allowed to stay in your house, which most of the time you are. Um, you know, for short-term survival, 8 hours to 30 days, cash is king. Whenever the electricity is out, we revert to a cash society. Forget about gold and silver. Forget about the long-term survival stuff. In the short-term survival situation, cash is everything. Um, and sadly, you know, myself and my little family don't have the option to take all that much of it out of the bank at any one given time. But even $100, $200 on your person in an emergency situation can make a world of difference. Um, I have been in stores, you know, big name stores, that in a survival situation, in a power outage situation, they were open, but they took cash only. Um, if you're smart, you're prepared. You're not going to need to run in the house for anything, and that's the whole idea: is that you don't have to run out of the house for anything. Uh, that's why these other videos have been made. But this one is in case you do have to run out of the house during an emergency. Even something as small as an 8 to 72 hour emergency, you're going to find that cash is the only thing that people take if the electricity is out. In my advice, a day or two beforehand, take out as much, cash, a reasonable amount of cash, $100, $200. Um, that's gas money. It's extra food money if you weren't prepared. It's it's money for whatever else happens. It's shit happens money. Um, and you know, literally, especially for wealthier people. You know, I know a lot of people um, who have some money, and I know a few people who are actually wealthy, and they almost never carry cash. Cash is something you find on people who are on the lower end of the economic scale. But in an emergency situation, cash is king. It's the only thing anyone's going to take. They won't take an IOU. They won't take your credit card. They won't, you know, take your bank card. For truly poor people, they won't take your EBT, your debit cards, etc. It's always good in an emergency situation to have a reasonable amount of cash on you. You don't want to pull out, thousands of dollars and become a target. Because the police are otherwise occupied during major catastrophes. But a couple $100, I mean, if you're wealthy, a couple $100. If you're poor, $100. Having cash, having that option as soon as things open to be able to go out and buy is priceless. You know, if you've done everything well, then you don't have anything you have to go out and buy. I'll be honest, it's been decades for me since I had to run out and get something. You know, during emergencies, I'm in my home with my loved ones, and I'm safe and secure. But, you know, if you haven't prepared as much as you'd like, if You forgot something, you know, $100, $200 can make all the difference in the world. And 20s, not hundreds. A lot of people aren't going to be willing or able to break large bills. Okay, cash is king. Short-term survival. Cash is king. The word said all. Thank you, David Keynes.